Good morning. There is like 7 people just popped up all at the same time. Good morning, Kendra. Good morning, Dr. BJ. Good morning, Chantel. Good morning, Antoinette. I know. That's what happens when you make a move, shaking and baking. That's what I'm talking about. Good morning, Danita. Good morning, Lanita. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Or sleeping late. That too. Listen, Linda. I will be right with you. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Yes, get those hearts. Good morning, One Life Speaker. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the morning LifeScope with TrueheartSpeaks. I am Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, and I Speak Life mentor. Hey, Erica. Hey, everybody popping in. Good morning. For those of you who are new, we're here every Monday through Thursday. Good morning, Sharina. Good morning. We're here every Monday through Thursday at 7:15 a.m. Good morning, Jill. Good morning, Love Life E. Good morning. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not even going to mess that up. Good morning, Shania. Good morning, Mesa Girl. Good morning, everybody. So I know some of you all missed me yesterday morning. And good morning, Michelle. And hey, Kia. I just decided that I wanted to sleep in. I decided that I wanted to, when I tell y'all, I never get a chance to sleep in. And plus Dallas didn't have school. And I was like, I want to rest. I had a busy weekend. Good morning, TJ Brown. Good morning, Karima. And so I just kind of made the ex officio decision. I was just like, you know what? I think I want to sleep in. And I did. My husband came home from work and he took my son downstairs and he let me sleep till like, good morning, Marilyn. I don't know. Like, I think I woke up, it was like 10:51. And y'all know, like, well, you don't know, but I don't sleep that late ever. And so like the weekend was busy. It was a good weekend. We were just doing a whole bunch of stuff. So at any rate, I got a chance to sleep in, y'all. So I'm super excited. Good morning, Nicole. And so, and the funny part is I had prepared today's lesson for yesterday. And I was like, you know what? Like, I can switch it. So I did. And here we are Tuesday morning, where this month we're talking about living leadership, having a lifestyle of leadership, right? And being consistent. And so last week, if you missed, good morning, Mama Vi, if you missed last week's juiciness that we talked about, freedom equals switching it. I know that's right. It absolutely means switching it. Freedom equals sleeping in until 10:51, right? It is what it is. And so I'm super excited that I could do that. I was so refreshed because I have a couple of things that I have going on this week between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that I really need to mentally prepare for. I start classes again on Monday from teaching. So, hey, Jay, good morning. So, yeah, so I'm excited. Just about everything. Like January has been really good to me so far. For those of you all have been watching my post and you've been seeing what I've been sharing. And so today is the 17th, which means that technically you are on page 17 of chapter 1 in your book called 2017. And so my question to you, and I'll be asking this, God willing, all year long. All year long. I want to try to keep track of what those days are, but technically each month is a new chapter. And so this is the first chapter of this book called 2017. What does it look like for you? What have your first 16 days been? What have you been writing on your life pages? Have you been intentional about the memories that you are creating? Are you intentional? Have you been intentional about how it is that you want your life to look this year? You're already 16 days in, right? You have the opportunity. Good morning. Good morning, sweet potato pie. But you have an opportunity literally to create what it is that you want. And so if you all know anything about me, you know that we talk about being consistent. And so sometimes it's not about creating a fast result, but it's about doing the work. And so my question is, have you been doing the work these first 16 days? Have you been, when you look at your life pages, I thought about it, I probably would have excuse me, bought a new journal and literally kind of wrote some stuff out every single day and called it day 1, day 2, all the way through, just to see what it looks like. I haven't done that. So, I mean, I probably could start today, but just mentally for some of you, and if you need to get a journal, get a journal. Good morning, D-Shell. It's been good so far, getting things done, small steps and large stuff. That's awesome. And that's what it's about. It's about consistency. Hey, Tamara, how you doing? I'm glad you're watching too. But it's about consistency. And so if there are things that you want to accomplish in your life, if there's some things that you want to happen, if there's some things that you've been continuously talking about, but you haven't really been putting, steps to your talk, the walk to your talk, now is the time to do that. Now is absolutely the time to do that. And so, good morning, Makila. So I want you guys to be intentional about 2017. I want you to be intentional about every year. Now, you can't control what happens to you. And you can't control what happens around you, but what you can control, good morning, but what you can control is how you respond to it and the things that you can do in order to manifest. It's kind of like, you can't control, I'm trying to figure out an analogy. I can't even think of an analogy, but let's just say, you can't think up an apple tree, but you can sow seeds so that you can get an apple tree, right? And so for some of you, you got to sow the seeds, right? You cannot get a return on an investment you did not make. You cannot reap a harvest that you did not sow seeds into and you did not cultivate and take care of. And so good morning, Melina. And so if you have not done the work, then at the end of the year, you can't be mad with the results that you are getting. And here's the thing, this is a day by day, week by week, month by month. And so some of us shouldn't be talking about, oh, well, I can't, like at the end of this year, yada, yada, yada. Let's talk about what you're going to do by the end of the month. What are you going to do by the end of the month, right? What do you by January 31st? What is your goal? What is it? Because when you look at your overall goal, you can break that down quarterly, you can break it down monthly, and you can break it down weekly. And so if you are not looking at the things that you want to accomplish, and let's just say it could be every month I want to take a vacation, and it doesn't necessarily mean somewhere far away. What does that look like for you? How much money is it going to cost? Do you actually have the money? Sounds like I've missed a lot this month. No, we've only been on since last week. I was off the whole first week of January, so you didn't miss a lot. But the idea here is planning. Like, so, if you have a business, if you have a job, if you have, personal goals, if you have marriage or relationship goals, whatever the case may be, what does that look like? Like for me, I decided, that every month I want to take my son somewhere. I decided that yesterday. And it doesn't necessarily have to be somewhere out of town, but I've decided that that's something that I want to do, right? There's some places that we have yet to be, that we've yet to go. And, I'm going to figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to tie that in. But once a month, we're going to do something, that we can just, good morning, Debbie, that we can just do. Because for me, I want to be able to create memories. I want to be, he's got tons of toys and different things and he goes and plays and stuff, but I want to be able to say every month we did something, and I really want to say something different. Hey, Love Bug, how you doing? And so, how you doing, Ava? And so at any rate, for you, what does that look like for you? And we're not going to spend a whole lot of time because I want to transition into today's topic, but I want you to get clear, right? On, like, some of you are just waking up and whatever happens on that specific day, it is what it is. And that can't be. Like, you gotta, like, there's got to be some purpose and some intention to what it is that you want to do. There's got to be some purpose and some intention to how you want to accomplish this thing and what it's going to look like. You know what I'm saying? And if there's no intention to it, if there's no work, you can't be mad with the results. Point blank, period. So I say all that to say Happy New Year. Happy Dr. Martin Luther King Day. Which was all yesterday. Happy Founders Day to all of my sorors. And all of the other greats who have celebrated Founders Day these last couple of days. Has just been hashtag J everything. I think we started out with J9, J13, J15, J16. Everybody been celebrating Founders Day, but special shout out to the special sorors, F40 Incorporated. All right, so let's jump into this month's topic. Let me share, and before we do that, again, let's do our hearts of worship. Let's double tap the screen if you are on On Periscope, you want to swipe right and you want to swipe up, swipe right on the iPhone, swipe up on the Android. Yes, let's get those hearts going. Let's double tap. And here's the thing, for some of you who don't know, I don't ask for hearts, but if there's something that I'm saying and it's super juicy to you, absolutely double tap the screen, right? Double tap the screen. But we're doing our hearts of worship. Super excited about just just waking up and seeing another day, just waking up and, seeing another week, waking up and allowing God to bless us just with another opportunity to do whatever it is that he has placed us on this earth to do. And so, I just want to make sure that we give him his due, right? And absolutely grace and mercy. And let's see, good morning. I'm sending you all a message. And so, I just, we can't wake up and just kind of get our day going. We have to make sure that we give honor where honor is due. You know what I'm saying? Take some time and just, we want to be grateful. We want to be thankful. We want to be in a space, and you all know I have my new book, 30 Days of Thanks, 30 Daily Devotions for Cultivating an Attitude of Gratitude. Good morning from the UK. And, we want to be in a space where, being thankful isn't optional, but a necessity. Good morning, Cassandra, that every morning we are grateful. Every morning we're thankful. Every morning we have something to be thankful and grateful and appreciative about. And so, when we do our hearts of worship, it's just to say, Lord, we thank you. We honor you. We love you. And we're just, we made it. Some people didn't make it and we made it, right? And so we don't take that for granted. We don't just, assume that we're supposed to wake up. Like, tomorrow is not promised. And so if today is all we have, Lord, we say thank you. If today is all we have, we say thank you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I want to be able to, for us to be in a space where, we can give honor, glory, and praise where honor, glory, and praise is due, right? Not to me or not to you, but to him. You made it these first 16 days of the month. And so God willing, you'll make it this third week of January, and then you'll make it into the fourth week, and you'll make it into, the fourth week, and then we'll come out of this month and we'll go into, February. But we thank God for today. We thank God for today, regardless of the situation or the circumstances. Be thankful. Absolutely. It could absolutely be worse. And some of you are saying, like, if it get any worse, I'm going to kick somebody. And I've been there. I've absolutely been there. I've absolutely been in that space where in our minds, it's like, Lord, listen, Linda, right? You just, like, things are happening one after the other, and you just like, Lord, what is going on here? But just know he's there. Just know he hasn't forgotten about you. Just know that he is always thinking of you. Just know that whatever it is, that God can use it to your benefit. It may not seem like it. It may not feel like it, but that's why we give him thanks in spite of, right? We give him thanks. We give him honor. We give him glory. He never promised that it would be easy. He never promised that he is absolutely a keeper, right? He never promised that we would have life without problems, without struggles. He never promised that, but he did promise that he will be with us. He promised that he would never leave us nor forsake us. He promised that that he would be with us until the end. He promised that he would be peace, that he would be refuge, that he would be shelter. He promised that we could look to him for help. He promised that. And so with that being said, we just give him honor, glory, and praise. So let's jump into the teaching for today. We're talking about, and I already know that I'm probably going to take this over into tomorrow because I have a lot to share today. And we're talking about a life of integrity. And so when we're talking about living leadership, we're transitioning a life. When we're talking about living leadership, part of being a leader, having a lifestyle of leadership, is about integrity, being a person of integrity, being an integritous person. And so, as I was preparing for today's lesson, and it's interesting because all weekend I kept, asking God, okay, so what do you want me to share? What do you, what's the next kind of, message that you want me to share with my tribe, when we talking about living a life of leadership, right? A lifestyle of leadership. And good morning, everybody joining in. And so when we talk about living a lifestyle of leadership, you can't be a leader without integrity. Now we know that there are people, and I shouldn't say you can't be, but you should be an integritous person, right? And so, the idea here is when we look at integrity, and I'm going to read just a few of my notes and then we're going to transition. And so, we like to say that we are integritous people. We like to say, but at the end of the day, how you live speaks more than what you say. And so integrity is the quality or state of being whole, complete, entire, undivided, or undiminished. And so it also talks about the condition of being unified, unimpaired. And so we know when something is impaired, there is kind of something wrong with it. Or sound in construction or sound in condition. It's unimpaired in its condition. The other definition it gives is firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values, adherence to moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character. It also uses honesty, sincerity. There are a ton of words that came up when you look at like the synonyms of integrity. And so when you look at take it even deeper, and you learn a little bit more about what integrity means, it comes from the word integer. And the word integer, if you remember in math, right, it talks about a whole number, not a fraction, which is interesting to me. And it also says meaning a thing complete in itself. And so when we look at this, and I'm going to, talk a little bit more about this. So maybe I had a lot here, but maybe I'll be able to get in because I also want to read from John Maxwell's book as well. But the idea here is that who you are in private matches up to who you are in public. Who you are in private matches up to who you are in public. Being whole means not being split, not in half, or like when we talk about somebody who's double-minded, you talk out of both sides of your mouth. We know those people. We've seen people, right? And so, we know that just because you have title or position doesn't make you a leader. But you can have leadership means influence. And so if you can have positive or negative influence, I'm talking a little bit about what we shared last week, but understanding that being a person of integrity is not about doing it for everybody else. You do it based on what you believe in, right? And so as a believer, what I do for God. As a believer, what I do for him. And so when we talk about adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values, adherence to moral or ethical principles, integrity is something that guides you, that as a person of integrity, there's certain things you just not gonna do, not because you're doing it for show, or not because you're doing it, to put yourself out there, or not, whatever the case may be. You're doing it because it's either it is the right thing to do or it's not the right thing to do. And as a person of integrity, people follow people who are people of integrity. When you lose your integrity, you lose your following. And so when we understand that integrity, that influence and leadership are about following, it's about influence, it's about following people who you believe in. When people no longer believe in you, when you start to lose your level of integrity, people then stop following you. And so you have to be a person of your word. You have to be a person of integrity. You have to be a person of moral and ethical standards. And let me just tell you, don't worry about, because it's like, well, what about the people who get away with it? They won't always get away with it. We can't really compare ourselves to other people. We can't compare ourselves to what everybody else is doing. But what we can do is pay attention to what we're doing and how we're doing it. And that's what's most important. And so when you look at this, who you are in private matches up to who you are in public. And the idea here is, I teach this, it's progress, not perfection. Nobody's asking you to be a perfect person. Nobody is asking you to be perfect, but what I am asking you is to be mindful of the lifestyle that you live. It's who you are at home, who you are in public. It's who you are at work, who you are at home. It's who you are at church, who you are at home. It's who you are at home, who you are at church. More than likely, I would say probably, I don't know, I'm just going to be modest and say probably 85% of the people who know me know that if you see me at home, who I am at home is who I am out in the streets. Who I am in the streets is who I am at church. Who I am at church is who I am at work or teaching or whatever the case may be. There's not much about me that is not who I am. I literally, who I am is who I am. And you know, and let me just tell you, it says you're on point again. This weekend after eating, we go out to eat, and in the end, Joe finds a wallet with $350 in cash, the person's ID. Immediately we said it's about integrity. It's a test. So of course let me just look here. Let me see. So, of course, he took steps to return the wallet. Although those crispy $100 bills look great, we knew the issue. Integrity equals doing the right thing when nobody is looking. Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. When nobody is looking, you know, literally, you are absolutely consistent across the board. And so if who you are behind closed doors is not who you are, you know, when everybody else sees you, then you need to do a personal self-assessment, a personal self-check, because you're out of alignment. You're out of alignment with yourself. You're out of alignment with people. If you're different at work than you are at another place, then you need to check some things. There should never be a place where you can't be who you are at work, at home, at church, or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that people got to be all in your business. I'm not saying all of that, but who you are as an individual, when you see me, like, I'm just saying, wherever I am, this is who I am. I'm crazy. I'm loud. I have a rambunctious laugh. I'm pretty much a straight no chaser. It says, gotta leave them out at home. I might get fired. Absolutely. But I'm not even, but you know what I'm saying, Nakia. I mean, at the end of the day, that's wisdom. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily you not having integrity. That's wisdom. You know what I mean? And so, you know what I mean? Like, it's wisdom. It's wisdom to know that there's some things that you just not going to go off on your boss. Like, you just not going to go off, or you're not going, like, that takes wisdom. You know what I mean? But when we talk about integrity, at the end of the day, your character, who you are, it's consistent. It's the same. And so if it's not the same, and we talk about living a lifestyle of leadership, how you lead people, whether it's your family, whether it is your, you know, in your marriage, whether it's your children, like, here's the thing, like, you know, are you the same? Like, if can your children say that you're the same at home as you are with other people? Or do you try to put on this facade of being, you know, this other person when you're out and about with everybody, but then when you get home, you're somebody totally different? You need to check that. You need to check that. The Hebrew word in the Bible, your walk and talk, has to be the same. It has to be the same. Like, people can't be like, wow, like, you know, she's different here than she is there. And she's different here than she, like, wow, like, I didn't know. That's not the one I know. That's not the, oh, I don't know. It says you have the opportunity to say and do wrong or huffy, but you choose not to. Absolutely. And so the Hebrew word in the Bible for integrity talks about completeness. It even, maturity. Okay, I was wondering what that was. I figured you meant something, Marsha. It says completeness, prosperity, integrity, uprightness, full, perfect, perfection, and simplicity. It signifies completeness in the following senses. Completeness as it relates to fullness, innocency, and simplicity, and integrity. It comes from the word tamen, or ta, which is pronounced tamen, which is to be complete, finished, perfect, spent, sound, used up, have integrity. It says the basic meaning of the word is that of being complete or finished with nothing else expected or intended. And so when we talk about integrity and completeness, I mean, the idea is that there's nothing added, there's nothing taken away. That who you are is who you are. Now, here's the thing. This is a daily walk and a daily work to be consistently you. It is a daily walk and a daily work to be consistently you. You have to be in a space where this is something you are working on every single day, because guess what? We know, just like the example showed there, as a person of integrity, a person of faith, there will be opportunities for where nobody is looking, and you could absolutely get away with it. And the question is, will you? The question is, will you stay true to what you believe and who you believe in? Or will you say, well, ain't nobody really looking, won't nobody know? And listen, we've all been there, done that. But at some point in time, there is a level of conviction to the point of where then you have a level of maturity where you finally say, you know what? I can't keep doing this. Nobody is watching, but I'm watching, and I'm feeling some kind of way about myself. If you're not feeling some kind of way about the mess that you're doing, there's a problem with that, which means that you lack integrity. You lack character. And you need to self-check yourself. Period. And so I'm going to close at 7:45. I'm going to pray. But it says, it's interesting how integrity could also mean simplicity in biblical terms. And for those of you, you know that simplicity is my word for the year. That's my word, simplicity. Keeping it simple, not complicating things, that where it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be complex, no overthinking, none of that kind of stuff. And I said, I believe that when you know who you are and you are firm in your beliefs and convictions, life is simple. That's juicy, right? Your decisions aren't easy, but they're simple to make, because some things you just aren't going to do. Some places you just aren't going to go. Some, it's just, that that's your life, right? It's who you are. Like, I have friends who just don't, there's some things they don't ask me to do in places they don't ask me to go because they know I ain't going. And it's not really about integrity, but it's just about who I am as an individual. I'm not going there. Period. So they don't ask. Period. And so, again, just tying this back into, I'm not in the book. This is all my teaching today. We will read from the book tomorrow. We'll read from this tomorrow, part 2 of integrity, because he has a chapter on integrity, and so I want to read it. So maybe it'll take us through tomorrow and Friday. I'm not sure. But the last thing that I want to share, and I've shared this already, and I'm going to close with this, and we're going to pray. Trying to be a people pleaser instead of trying to please him. Absolutely. And being a people pleaser will get you in trouble every single time, because there's too many people to please. And so while you're trying to please her, you're trying to please him, and then you're trying to please them, and you're trying to please them, and you're trying to please them. And at the same time, it's a conflict. It's an internal conflict, because for one, you're not being true to you, but then 2, you're not being true to him. Right? So what I have here is this: who you are at home has to be who you are at work. Who you are at church has to be who you are at home or work. Who you are with your friends has to be who you are with work and home. Thank you. And so again, it takes time to figure this thing out. It takes time to sort through it, especially as a teenager, because we want to be liked. Even as adults, we want to be liked. We don't want people to look at us differently. We don't want people to, to talk about us. We don't want to be the oddball out. We don't want to be the only one doing the good thing, right? We don't want to be the one considered being the goody two-shoes. And sometimes it's not about being a goody two-shoes. It's just like, y'all tripping. I'm not doing that. That's dumb. I'm not doing that. I'm not. And so as you get older, and I learned this years ago, I'm going to share this and then I really am going to pray. Years ago, I remember being out. Those of you who remember Jasmine's, and I'm really dating myself. Back in the day, it was a club called Jasmine's. And this was when I was in my early 20s, and I had first started my girls program, YMBP. And I happened to be out with some friends, and I happened to see one of the parents of one of my girls out. And it was literally like, for me, at that particular time, I was like, ooh, I can't even do this anymore. Now, I've never been really a clubber, but we were out, having a good time, since having one foot in the world and having one foot in Christ. Absolutely. And so we were just out, like, it was a girls' night out. We were having a good time, whatever. But in my mind, I had literally, for me, checking my character, my integrity, who I am as an individual, as somebody that their daughters are bringing to my program. I have a responsibility to protect who I am. I have a responsibility also not to be showing my tail, because who I am represents my program. And then if I'm out showing my tail, what does that tell you about what I'm teaching your girls? Or is it not in alignment with what I'm teaching my girls? And so I had to literally, and this is why some of y'all don't see me at places, not because I can't go. I choose not to go. And part of it is integrity, but part of it also is just a simple fact that I have to walk the talk, which means that if I'm out and about and if I'm, doing certain things, I understand that somebody who could see me, who knows that I'm working with their kid. And so I have to remember that what I'm teaching also has to be what I'm living. And so some of you, is what you're teaching what you're living? Is what you're telling people, you're telling your people at the end of the day, right? You're telling people as a manager, as a leader, whatever the case may be, that they should do X, Y, and Z, but it doesn't apply to you because you're the leader, you're the manager, you have position, you have title. Absolutely not. You have a responsibility to live what you teach. You have a responsibility. Yes, girl, listen, we ain't even talking about parents and family. Like, I could be out anywhere and my parents would, they knew too many people. But but when it's you and you're in a place where you recognize, because this is a few people who see me acting a fool, and they would tell my parents, I didn't know that they was telling, but they was telling. But as an adult, I had to check it. And so integrity means checking yourself. Nobody has to check you. You check yourself. Am I walking the talk? Am I living this thing out? And here's the thing, some days might be yes and some days might be no. There is no condemnation here. There's no judgment here. What it is accountability. I want you to be accountable for who you are. I want you to be accountable for who God says you are. I want you to be accountable for who God is calling you to be, what he's calling you to do, who you are when nobody is watching. Absolutely. And the other part is does it match up to who you are when everybody is watching? To me, that's the biggest thing. Integrity is not only what you do when nobody is looking, but does it match up to who you tell everybody you are? And if it doesn't, you need a gut check, you need a heart check, you need a mind check, but more importantly, you need to self-check yourself. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you, oh God, for this time. I thank you for this space, Lord. I thank you, oh God, for this word of integrity, having a life of integrity during the month that we study a lifestyle of leadership as as people who you have called us, to be great, to be awesome, to serve, just to be who we are, right? Your children. You have called us to a higher level of accountability. And so, Lord, we thank you for this word of integrity. We thank you for this word of completeness. We thank you, oh God, for the word of simplicity, that when we live a life of integrity, when we're true to who we say we are, life is simple. We don't necessarily have to talk out of both sides of our mouths. We don't necessarily have to think about, oh, well, did I say that or didn't I say that? That who we are is who we say we are, right? Who we are is who we say we are, right? The way that we live is consistent with the way that we talk. The way that we talk is consistent with the way that we treat people. The way that we treat people is consistent with the way we interact and we show. It's consistent. It's a consistent cycle. And so for some of us, we need to check some things. For some of us, we need to say, wow, like that's not necessarily, I haven't been consistent in who I am. And so I have to recheck some things. I have to check who I am and who I am, how I am, and why I am. I have to check some things about who I am. I have to check some things about why I am. I have to check what I say. What I think. Is what I think consistent with what I say? Is what I say consistent with what I do? And so, Lord, we just ask that we thank you for this message, and we just ask that you would Help us to do a daily self-check, a personal inventory, that we would self-assess, that we will become self-aware, that we would not only become self-aware, but we will become God-aware, Christ-aware, that we will become Christ-centered, that the decisions we make would be all about you, that the decisions we make would be pleasing to you, that the way that we treat people would be pleasing to you. And so, Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this time. We thank you, oh God, for this message, because this is a daily message. This is a message that that we have to think about, a message that we have to ponder on, that we have to meditate on, that we have to reflect on. And so we're thankful, God, for an opportunity to be checked today on this 7th day of January in 2017, before we get to February or March or April, May or June, or even before we get to December. Let us check ourselves at the door today, having a lifestyle of leadership, having a life of integrity in the name of Jesus. Lord, we just thank you. We praise you. We magnify you. Let us also have people who can check us if we can't check ourselves, who can say, listen, that's not lining up. We can't do that. What is it that we're showing other people when we do X, Y, and Z? Lord, bring a board of advisors, a people of accountability to us, that we may not like what they say, but we know it's for our best interest. We know that it is in our best heart. We thank you, oh God, for just this time and this space today on this Tuesday, God, where we will begin, if we haven't already, we will begin to live a life of integrity. We will begin to live a lifestyle of leadership every single day, God, that this is not just when we get it out in front of people. It's not just when we're on Periscope and Facebook. It is not just when we get in the pulpit. It is not just when we're showing up and we have board meetings, but every single day when we interact with people, when we say hello to people, how we treat people, God, help us to be people of integrity. Help us when we live a life of integrity, God. Life is simple. Integrity equals simplicity. When we do the things the way you want us to do it, the way how you want us to do it, in the name of Jesus. And so we're thankful, Lord. We just give you honor, glory, and praise. We magnify you. There is none like you, in the name of Jesus. Yes, work with us. We are willing and we are able. Keep us accountable every single day, Lord. Every single day, brand new mercies. Every single day, a life check. Every single day, self-reflective. Every single day, did I live a life of integrity? Am I living this life in a way that would be pleasing to you, Lord, today? Did I do it yesterday? Did I do it the day before? And if by some chance, God, that I fell short, God, show me how to do it again over and over. Show me how to do it again today. Show me how to make it right, in the name of Jesus. We thank you, oh God. We praise you. We magnify you in Jesus' name. Amen. My little person is in the background on his iPad. So I pray that this was good for you guys. I pray that you will go back and you will listen to this. I pray that you will, again, this message is for all of us. It is a self-reflective message. When we talk about a lifestyle of leadership, integrity is key, right? That is, to me, the very first thing, like integrity, being a person of integrity. You know what I mean? Can God trust you with what he gives you, right? Can you trust yourself? I did change my office around. I got a new bookshelf back there. We are the reflection of God in his image. Absolutely. So we will pick up with this. This is the book that we're reading off and on. So we will pick up with reading this tomorrow, the chapter of integrity, the most important ingredient of leadership, integrity. So we will read this tomorrow. But I wanted to start off with this teaching today just to kind of open this up, because I think it is, it's important, right? Miss the window. Yeah, it's right there. So I moved everything around. And it gives me an opportunity to, thank you, my little thing right there. It gives me an opportunity to declutter. You all know I've been talking about decluttering and stuff, and so my husband bought that for me for Christmas. And so you have a blessed day as well too. Here it is. Let me put it up so you guys can you can buy it. It's Developing the Leader Within You, John C. Maxwell. But so I'm decluttering. I'm getting rid of doing a lot of shredding and all that kind of stuff. So so those of you who want to screenshot this, thank you so much, Marsha. And so probably next week I will open up enrollment for our LifeScope Masterclass for this topic, where we'll talk about how to actually apply, turn it around. I don't know how to turn it around. The name, yeah, John C. Maxwell, Developing the Leader Within You. Go, hey Gwen, how you doing? Yeah, so that's that. So, it's a good book, isn't it? Yeah, it's John C. Maxwell, Developing the Leader Within You. So you all have an awesome day. I'm going to let y'all go and get Dallas ready for school. And then I have a conference call at 10 o'clock that I need to get ready for. Oh, it shows it backwards. Yeah, I don't know how to put it any other way. I can't. But I'll put a link for the book in here, so you guys can go back and you can check it out. And those of you who are on Periscope, go to facebook.com/TrueheartSpeaks, and I'll put this in here. So, and then you can find the link there as well. But it's basically just, if you type in John Maxwell, and I'll put the book in here so you guys can do it. And then that's that. And then it's John C. Maxwell. It's a blessing listening to you from the UK. Thank you. You know, that's the best part. You have a good day too, Dr. T. FB Live shows things backwards. Oh, okay. John Maxwell, Developing the Leader. And as I always say this, if you don't necessarily have to be leading people, you know, per se, but there's always an opportunity, you know, I should say you shouldn't, you may not necessarily be leading people, but you're always leading somebody. You all know that I teach this, that you have a tribe of people who are connected to you. And so if you have a tribe of people connected to you, you always want to be in a space where you are developing you, so that you can be in a better place to develop them, right? Developing the leader within you. So for those of you, that's the book. So yeah, so that's the book. So yeah, so like I said, you should always be reading. Hey, I missed so much, but we'll catch the replay. Yes, go back and catch the replay. It's really good. But again, you know, check yourself, right? You should be reading, right? While we should be following and leading at the same time. We should be following and leading at the same time. Bye, Marsha. Have a good day. And so you should be reading. You should be getting books. You should be, you know, anything that helps you to become a better you should be buying it, right? There's nothing wrong with reading ratchet books, because you need, you know, to have something that you can pull away from. But you should also be reading something that makes a deposit in you, that should be developing you as an individual, that should be developing you, you know, whether it's your finances, your marriage. You should be reading. Like, that's the best. Oh, I love that book, Thinking for a Change. That's the best investment that you can make in yourself, is in you, right? So if you can't invest in coaching, if you can't invest in a mentor, if you can't invest in, you know, products and services, you can always buy a book. Like, I used to buy books on eBay for like $2-3, free shipping, right? Otherwise you'll have an overdraft. Draft, absolutely. You'll be giving, but you won't be depositing anything in. All right, let me let y'all go, because I'm teaching again. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We will pick up with the chapter on integrity, where we will continue this conversation. Y'all have an awesome day. And remember, it's a lifestyle of leadership. This is a daily thing that we are doing. And so today your assignment is really to self-check if you are living a life of integrity, right? If you live a life of integrity, life is simple, right? It may not be easy, but it's simple, right? It's simplicity. It's not complex, because you already have a standard for how you live your life. And so when things come up, it's a no-brainer on how you make decisions, because it's not about compromise. You already know who you are and whose you are and how you make your decisions. So you all have an awesome day. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow.